Have you ever had the feeling that you're not really the one steering your own life? You get up, you go to work, you answer the messages. But somewhere underneath, something you can't see keeps making the real decisions. Picture the navigation on your phone for a second. You never typed in a destination. You just started driving, and a calm little voice keeps telling you when to turn. But you didn't choose the route. Something loaded it before you were old enough to notice, and you've just been following it ever since. And if you never learn how that thing works, one day you look up and you're somewhere you would never have picked. A job, a relationship, a whole version of yourself you drove straight into on autopilot. About 100 years ago, a Swiss doctor named Carl Jung went looking for that hidden system. Not to fix anyone, just to see it. He'd survived 5 years where his own mind half came apart, dreams and images he couldn't explain, and instead of running, he climbed down into it and drew what he found. That drawing is the closest thing we have to a diagram of the thing steering you. Start at the top of that map, up in the light. That's your consciousness, the part you're using to follow me right now. Sitting dead center in it is the ego. Simple version. The ego is the little narrator in your head, and it has one job. It tells the story of who you are. Every time you think, this is just who I am, every I could never, every I'm not that kind of person, that's the ego narrating. It feels like all of you. It's really one small lit room at the top of a very big house. Turned toward the world, that top room wears a face. Jung called it the persona. Plain version, it's the you that shows up to work, smiles in the group chat, and says, "I'm good, thanks," on the days you're the opposite. Not a lie exactly, just the edited cut you let people see. The mask itself isn't the problem, everyone wears one. The trouble starts when you've worn it so long that you keep performing with nobody in the room. You catch yourself acting fine, alone at midnight for an audience that isn't even there. That's not you wearing the mask anymore, it's the mask wearing you. Now go down one floor, into the dark. This is your personal unconscious. Think of it as the room where your mind quietly files everything it doesn't want to look at. The memory that still stings. The feeling you decided years ago you weren't allowed to have. You didn't delete any of it. You just stopped looking. It doesn't sit quietly down there, it leaks. It's why a small comment can wreck your whole afternoon, or why you snap at the one person who didn't do anything. Something you buried is answering for you before you get a say. Go deeper still and it stops being only yours. Jung believed there's a floor underneath that every human shares. Old patterns nobody invented, handed down a chain of people copying people all the way back. The mother, the hero, the wise old stranger. He called them archetypes. Basically, ready-made characters your brain recognizes before anyone teaches you them. It's why a story you've never heard can feel like you already knew it. Why children nobody taught are still afraid of the same dark. You didn't learn those. You inherited them. And somewhere in all that dark, everything you've pushed away collects into a single shape. The anger you swear you don't feel. The envy, the wanting. Jung gave it a name. The shadow. It holds the parts of you that don't fit the mask. Even the good ones. The softness a hard person buries. The strength a gentle one won't claim. Everything true that got left out of the story the ego tells. And right at the center of the whole map, under every floor, is what Jung called the self. Not the story you tell about yourself, the actual you. What you really want, and what you're actually able to do. It's the part that keeps nudging you toward things the ego keeps talking you out of. Here's the quiet heartbreak in the picture. The ego up in its little lit room and the self down at the center can spend an entire life barely speaking to each other. Jung had one word for closing that distance. Individuation. It just means slowly bringing the you that you perform, and the you that you believe you are, closer and closer to the one you actually are. And notice what that isn't. It's not becoming someone better, someone new. It's almost the opposite. It's clearing away the mask and the noise until the person who was down there the whole time can finally run the place. And if you never do it, nothing dramatic happens. That's the trap. You just drift a little further from yourself every year, until one ordinary Tuesday you're standing in a life that looks fine on paper and you catch yourself thinking, is this it? Why do I feel like a guest here? That feeling isn't a breakdown. It's the self, finally loud enough to hear. So how do you actually do it? It starts somewhere that sounds easy and that almost nobody manages. You get honest before you try to feel better. Brutal honesty first, then acceptance, not the other way around. Think of it as a staircase down into the basement of yourself. Every time you look straight at a feeling you'd rather dress up, every time you admit what you did and why you really did it, that's one step down. And it's rarely some big dramatic reckoning. It's small and daily. Someone you quietly envy trips up, and before you can stop it, you feel that little flicker of relief. Most people flinch from that and bury it fast. The whole move is to just let yourself see it. Oh, that's in me too. And you can't skip this by pretending the dark stuff isn't there. You can't outrun it any more than you can outrun the shadow your own body throws on the pavement. Turn away, and it just follows you. And here's the part that gets people. Ignored, it doesn't shrink. It grows. The small ugliness you won't look at ends up running the show from behind your back. But the second you can actually look at it, it loses its grip. You start catching it in the act. The flash of spite, the old reflex, the little voice that says they're better than you. You feel it sneaking back up the stairs, and for once you decide what to do with it instead of it deciding for you. Jung said something that sounds backwards until you've lived it. Admitting you're not okay is already the healing. So come back to that car, still driving itself. Most of what we call self-improvement is just leaning over to argue with the navigation. Be a little less anxious. Be a little more disciplined. Fiddle with the voice. But you're still letting it choose where you end up. And it keeps choosing the destination it was handed years ago by people and fears you never actually agreed with. This is the hardest thing a person ever really does, and the first move is smaller than you'd think. Tonight, pick one thing you keep calling just how I am. The temper, the people-pleasing, the way you go quiet when you're hurt. And instead of trying to fix it, ask one honest question. Where did I actually learn this? That's not fixing the voice. That's your hand finding the wheel for the first time. Nobody is going to reach over and take the wheel for you. The voice won't switch itself off, and no one is coming to do this on your behalf. You put your hands on it, or you spend the whole drive as a passenger in your own life.